we'll talk about M2. M2 is not the largest money supply. That's only retail, non-bank deposit instruments like time deposits, savings deposits, retail money market funds. And then you need to add in institutional instruments like institutional money market funds, repurchase agreements, and large time deposits. All that's in M3. So the Fed has not published any of this since 2006, but they still, you can back into a lot of the data from what they publish separately. That's M3. But Bitcoin is not comparable to any of that. It's not comparable to that or even M1. It's comparable to this. And really, you take out the repos because repos are for non-banks. This is central bank money for the banking system. All pyramids. And it really doesn't even pyramid on top of M0. This is physical cash, is M0. That's the gray area. This is what the entire banking system pyramids off of. It's just this. $3.5 trillion of bank reserves. It used to be 100 billion before the GFC, and then Ben Bernanke had a field day bailing people out. And Trump is very mad because basically on net, interest rates are higher because on net, bank reserves are lower. Okay, so here's you see that bank reserves were about 4.3 trillion in December 2021. That was indeed the top. And for the last 3 years, 2022 on, we're down to net 3.5 trillion in bank reserves. The reasons, in case people are wondering why the bank reserves are negative and the M0 is positive, because everything else on this chart pyramids from the bank reserves. All right, so I can do, for example, demand deposits, which are basically M1 minus M0. All right, I can do a ratio there. Let's look pre-GFC. The ratio is typically that very sacred 10-to-1. A lot of the Austrian economists think this is such a sacred thing. I think just not having a central bank regulate would be that would be the only sacred thing, but they're here. So whether it's 9-to-1, 10-to-1, 11-to-1, this is the amount of demand deposits in the United States versus bank reserves, which is central bank money in the banking system, only in banks themselves. It's this one right here, bank reserves plus vault cash, very small amount. Then you can see we had a new normal from the GFC, just crazy time. No ratio is the same. It's harder to see now, but let's take off M0. It's very hard to predict what might happen because there is so much, in fact, safety in banks relative to deposits. I'm not saying that the system is safe or that they're doing a good job in doing this, but Ben Bernanke was paying interest on these bank reserves, so banks chose to not lend them out, which was the initial intention, so there wouldn't be inflation, price inflation, but they've kept it there. Then if you want to look at M3, leverage over the system, you can put in that Fed repurchase facility, which again, back in this chart is here, right? When the Fed takes a liability against a counterpart in the market, which is typically a non-bank with repos, they're pulling liquidity out of the system. And so if you put that back to this chart, where is it here? Let's take off this ratio. Let's take off here. Now we just take M3, total money supply of the United States, which is 36.23 trillion at the moment, divided by total Fed liabilities, which are the black and the gray shaded areas here, as well as M0. But again, M0 is not really M0 is just cash. It's physical cash in circulation. Sorry, it's annoying why my scale resets sometimes. There we go. You get this number. So it was not central bank money that was out of control. Pre-GFC, it was M3 money. It was money market funds, repurchase agreements.